Give me dope!
Libertas Intel checking in May 22nd, 2015. I'm sure you guys have all heard about the Waco biker shootout that happened in Waco, Texas during a Confederation of Clubs annual meeting. Supposedly a fight broke out in a bathroom and spilled out into the parking lot where 9 people were shot dead, 18 hurt or wounded, and around 179 arrests. AP is stating that 115 of those arrested have no criminal records whatsoever. My guess is the cops arrested everybody they could, so nobody could talk while the cops got their story straight. Because there's rumors circling around that everybody that was shot by a cop. So anyway, I have two news stories here. One talks about Texas law enforcement bulletins, where they issued bulletins to local law enforcement stating that the bikers are seeking revenge and they're carrying C4 and hand grenades and guns. The second story is an interview with the president of the Bandidos. Anyway, let's get to the stories.
All new at 6. Law enforcement across the state on alert. 9 people died, 17 others were injured when as many as 5 biker gangs got into a gun battle in Waco this weekend. Police have made more than 170 arrests. They've confiscated everything from guns to knives, even brass knuckles. And tonight, officers across Texas and beyond have been warned of possible retaliation. Ginger Allen live from our Dallas newsroom with the bulletins just sent to all police.
This is just one I've received, Kaylee, and as you can see here, this is from Border Patrol to local law enforcement. This says gang members have issued orders to shoot and kill uniformed law enforcement officers. And again, this is just one of the several warnings we are learning about this evening.
Our law enforcement sources tell us the Federal Bureau of Prisons sent this alert to officers today. Our agency has received information that the Cossacks and Bandidos have issued an order to kill anyone in uniform. The Texas Department of Public Safety also sent out a bulletin warning of, quote, escalating violence. DPS says members of both groups have reportedly been instructed to arm themselves with weapons and travel to North Texas and ignore all law enforcement along their route. It says the groups are telling their members, do not stop if you are engaged. Here's a map that is also on the DPS memo. It highlights counties which it calls known Cossack areas. They include Collin County, Wise County, Parker, Ellis, Kaufman, Hunt, and as you can see, more than a dozen more. Look closely and you'll notice Fort Worth, Dallas, and Denton are not considered known areas for the group.
Now, again, we are learning that these alerts are coming from state and federal agencies. Again, warning that these groups are headed to North Texas. They are to be considered armed and dangerous. That's a quote from the bulletins. And it says that they are told to kill any uniformed officer who gets in their way. This is
9 killed, dozens hurt, and nearly 200 facing charges. The exact cause of the biker gang brawl in Waco remains unclear. A fight that escalated into a shootout among gangs and police.
Most of us only know about biker gangs from television shows like Son of Anarchy.
It is a world most are not allowed to see, and people in these biker gangs don't usually talk about what goes on inside. But KXAN investigator Brian Collister has had exclusive access over the years to members of the Bandidos Motorcycle Club, who police say were involved in the deadly Waco shooting. Today, Brian sat down with one of the Bandidos' top leaders who was there.
The event at Twin Peaks on Sunday was organized by a coalition of biker groups called the Texas Federation of Clubs and Independents. The president of that group and main speaker at the event is an Austin area Bandido member.
We seen the guys with the M16s, had everybody on the ground.
That was the scene when Jimmy Graves says he showed up to speak at a meeting of biker clubs in Waco on Sunday.
We had one of the inside guys call me, tell me the only thing he knows is he heard a gunshot and then he saw police officers running everywhere and bullets going everywhere.
Some inside took these never-before-seen pictures of police inside during the shooting and bikers on the ground outside. As head of the Texas Confederation of Clubs and Independents, Graves says the meeting was intended to be a peaceful gathering for bikers to learn about their rights, and he has no idea yet how the fighting started or who started it. But in his role as a national officer of the Bandidos, Graves strongly denies claims by police that biker gangs involved have been ordered to kill anyone in uniform.
How long do you think the Bandidos Motorcycle Organization would last if we went out shooting at cops? President Obama himself would send out the Air Force, the Army, the Marine Corps, and everybody and take us out. There's no way. We respect the police for doing their job.
Over the past 15 years, I've reported on the Bandidos, allowed unprecedented access to their leaders and events.
Ashes to ashes. Dust to dust.
Including this funeral of a murdered Bandido in 2001. And this party in which a San Antonio City Council member gave them a proclamation for their charity work. But law enforcement officials say the bikers are simply trying to change their notoriously violent image and are really a criminal organization with hundreds of members who engage in drug dealing, prostitution, and sometimes even murder. Law enforcement says you guys are nothing but organized crime, that you're a criminal organization. Are the Bandidos a criminal organization?
We do not break the law as a whole. We do not encourage it. You do not have to be a criminal to be a Bandido. We will not take criminals if we know they're criminals. We don't want that reputation.
Now, the Bandidos deny what happened was the result of a long simmering dispute with other bikers. Robert?
Brian, the Bandidos don't usually sit down for interviews with reporters. How did you get this kind of access?
Over the years that I've reported on them, I basically have just said, look, this is your opportunity to tell your story, to explain to people what your group is like. Now it's up to viewers to decide whether or not they believe their side of events.
Very interesting, Brian. Thank you so much. We have full in-depth coverage of this weekend's gang shooting.
Since the Texas law enforcement has deemed the biker clubs criminal organizations, they're going to bring terrorism laws to bear on the clubs. Probably have ATF in there, FBI, fusion centers. They're going to be doing sneak and peeks. That's where they can come into your house and search your house without a warrant. They're going to be using stingrays, monitoring social media. And if you're important enough, they'll have eyes on 24/7 with tails and cameras in your house, or cameras in your apartment. If you live in an apartment, they will go to management and say you're a terrorist or like a known bad criminal, and they will get the keys to your apartment, go in there and just set up surveillance, audio, video, bedroom, bathroom, and so forth. So if you want to learn about some of this stuff, you can go look at counter surveillance techniques to be able to combat some of those, to go combat that surveillance. Libertas Intel out.